Freedom has never sounded so good. Oh, hey, everybody. Great news, great news, great news. The great honking is here. The Canadians are just doing my heart wonders watching this amazing blockade that they have going on. But before I get into covering the news on that, I just wanted to let you guys know you should go over to Rumble, because I have at least 2 videos over there that I put up last week that I didn't put up over here, because you know why I can't put them up over here. So please, after you finish watching this video, go check out my other 2 on the subjects that no one's allowed to talk about, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. Or with no further ado, this article from Zero Hedge, Trudeau is playing with fire. This is a really good article because it's going to go into the history of what's been going on in Canada, because, well, I'm from America and I'm guessing a large part of my audience is American, so we're not always up on everything that's going on in Canada. All right. Canadian coronavirus lockdown policies have been and remain some of the most stringent and restrictive in the entire Western world. It may be a Commonwealth thing, given Australia and New Zealand have also descended into unrecognizable lands of cruel and capricious public health tyranny. In Ontario, citizens are now allowed to eat popcorn at movie theaters. That only opened up again earlier this week on Monday at 50% capacity, and only because of comprehensive drubbing the government was subjected to regarding this ridiculous make-believe public health directive. Life in Canada has been tedious, tyrannical, and indescribably punitive. That is why for many months throughout the pandemic, ordinary Americans and pundits alike have been looking north from the land of the free, the red states at least, and pretty much sneering at Canadians bereft as they are of the First and Second Amendments. And, Jordan Peterson really came to prominence I think that's when a lot of people in America realized that Canada does not have freedom of speech like we do in America. That's crazy. Actually, I think we're the only place that really has true freedom of speech. And we're seeing the loony people on the extreme left trying to take that away from us, but we're not going to let it happen. The polite Canadians, they scoffed, without their guns and their freedom of speech, were a lost cause. And then one day, Prime Minister Trudeau pushed the nice Canadians a rule too far. On January 15th, his minority government enacted a mandate for Canadian cross-border truckers, 80% of whom are already estimated to be medicated. So the truckers said the buck stops here. They quickly organized a grassroots campaign, set up a GoFundMe, and sent a 40-mile-long convoy to Ottawa, the capital city of Canada. It's not an anti-med thing. It's an anti-mandates thing. And though the media would claim it's a racist thing, the organizers are a Jewish guy named Benjamin Dichter and a Métis woman named Tamara Lich. These mandates for truckers were the last straw that broke the Canadians' back. The Truckers for Freedom convoy is now camped out in Ottawa, demanding an end to all vaccine mandates and to restore Canadian freedoms. Interestingly, as the 50,000 truck convoy approached Ottawa from Vancouver, and by the way, there are a whole bunch of people on the left trying to say, "Oh, that it's not that big," but of course they always say that things aren't that big. And I'd say it's hard to get a good number on how many trucks there are, because they're not just in Ottawa. There are trucks in Alberta. There are people leaving, and then there are more people arriving. Like this is this is in flux, and there are just different groups where these trucks are. It's not just one location. Trudeau tweeted that he would need to self-isolate for 5 days because he had been in close contact with somebody who had tested positive. Oh, yeah. Okay. And as the truckers and their supporters descended upon the city, he was whisked away with his family to an undisclosed location for security purposes, and then promptly announced that he was positive himself, needing, of course, more isolation. What a considerate and convenient illness. Huh. Just very, very considerate. Just all about the timing, that illness. with over 1 million citizens at their capital demonstrating for freedom and thousands of determined truckers saturating every single road around Parliament Hill, Trudeau offered no olive branch to the protesters. No, he would not meet with them. Those racist, misogynists, those Canadians with unacceptable views. No, instead of calming the waters and speaking with the people, he doubled down and began a series of grotesque verbal attacks on the multi-ethnic and multicultural demonstrators, with members of Indigenous peoples very highly represented.
We of two different colors, we hugged each other just a few minutes ago, and we don't see any races. We don't know what a race is. All we know is love, the language of love.
I've not seen a single act of violence. I haven't seen any racism. It's been absolutely the most classy and peaceful protest I have ever seen.
And I've been involved in all of the overpass events along the 416, and I've been boots on the ground here since Friday, since they started rolling in. I have not seen one negative flag here, no Nazi flags or anything like that. And, you know, we've also, the truckers and supporters here have made an effort to say that we will call out any violence or hatred that we're seeing, and we'll report it to the police. So we're all on the same page here. We don't want to see any violence. They didn't drive all this way to promote any violence or hate. They've come here to make a very peaceful statement that we would like to stop mandates, and we're supporting free choice. So they don't want to do anything to jeopardize that.
To add insult to injury, his federal minister of transportation concurrently announced that not only would the mandates and cross-border mandates remain, but plans were well underway for the government to implement an interprovincial mandate, especially for truckers. Revenge served cold. After all he has done for us, the peasants are ingrates. How dare the people not appreciate their dear leader? Taking a page from the American January 6th playbook, the Canadian mainstream media, largely subsidized by Canadian taxpayers, has chosen to highlight the lone kooks in the crowd with bad flags, precisely one Confederate and one Yahtzee, and added additional hatred towards the peaceful, orderly, and patriotic protesters. Their American media counterparts are sneering with equal disdain. Yes, and I, for one, am also looking at how like I said, I'm not calling them the mainstream media anymore because they are no longer mainstream. I'm talking about the fringe deep state legacy media that nobody watches anymore. The way that they are portraying this is they found one person in the crowd with a Yahtzee flag, and then he had a camera guy following him, but the camera guy and I'm sure the guy with the flag are both like Antifa or Antifa affiliated folks.
I've only seen one gentleman with a swastika flag and being followed by a cameraman that just followed the one swastika. He wasn't interested in the joy and love that other citizens are showing us.
There has been a couple of statues that were defaced with some swastikas, and the people that were doing this have nothing to do with the convoy or the freedom of the people. They're here to cause trouble. We just had a citizen of Ottawa come up to our truck in tears, thanking us. And he has never seen this town, this city, as clean as it is now, because we, the people, are picking up after people that have no respect for the city.
You're not fooling anyone, especially because now they found a couple of people with some Confederate flags. Guys, you cannot convince me that these people showing up in Canada with Confederate flags are anything other than liberal arts students. These Soros funded folks. It's them. We all know it's them. What are they thinking? Oh, well, like the South will rise again, all the way up to Canada this time. Nobody's thinking that. And I saw some people like looking at these flags that they had, or they brought the brand new flags. They still have the wrinkles in them. We're done. I'm sorry. You're trying to infiltrate and try to make people look bad, and we're not falling for it. Okay, we're not falling for it. We've been right about everything. We've been right about what was going on with Trump and Russia, which was a whole bunch of nothing. We have been right about all the things that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Okay, one side has been continuously right, the other side has been continuously wrong, and we are on the right side, and we are going to be continuing to be on the right side, and we're not going to let them get away with this nonsense. And some of you might be saying, hey, River, you can't just say that those are Antifa infiltrators. Where's your proof? Well, hey, your girl has proof. Here it is, courtesy of the awesome Mr. Andy No. He's all about exposing Antifa folks. And here's one. I got arrested at the protester area for dressing up all in black with weapons. Yes, Antifa is there and they're getting arrested. Andre Lacasse was arrested at the hashtag Freedom Convoy in Ottawa and charged with carrying a weapon to a public meeting. And now if I click on this, they'll have some of his recent tweets. Of course, we're all evil. Yeah. He has even more weapons. Yeah, so absolutely. Antifa is there. They're on the ground and they are being arrested. And this is another good one too. The Freedom Convoy protesters confronted a fully obscured and lone individual holding a Confederate flag at the truckers' protest in Ottawa. They believe he's an outside provocateur. Similar incidents have happened in the US involving leftists flying Yahtzee symbols. Yes. Watch this.
Now he's going. Now he's gone. We called him out. He knows. He's going to hold his head in shame now.
Actually, I need to correct myself. What I should have said was that neither of these guys are Antifa, okay? Neither of these guys are Antifa because remember, Antifa doesn't exist. It's just an idea, okay? It's not a real thing. Yeah, special warning here for the globalists. We all have phones. We are all recording and we know what you're doing. It's super obvious. We're going to call this garbage out when we see it and we're going to put people on blast. You do not control the narrative anymore. Get it through your heads. And you can take me down off of YouTube. That's fine. Guess what? This video, it's also going to be on Rumble. So you can maybe slow me down, but you can't stop me. And yes, one last final pathetic smear tactic. Now they're trying to say it's not that people love freedom. No, it's Russia. Russia. Just like, you know how we were right about Russia with Trump. Now we're right about Russia with the convoys. You know, it's really funny though. It's like they can't get their stories together. Like they can't get their stories straight. So it's Russia, but it's also Yahtzee. But Russia, the Russians and the Yahtzees weren't friends. So you're gonna have to pick one. We can't be everything. We can't be both. It can't be Russia. We can't be Russians and Germans because they don't get along. So which one is it? It's so ridiculous. Government rhetoric against the demonstrators is escalating. The Liberal government and Liberal mayor of Ottawa are urging protesters to leave, but the truckers say they have enough supplies for a 2-year campaign and will not be coming home until freedom has returned and all mandates are canceled. And I don't know if you've been seeing what's going on with the GoFundMe situation. So we're on the BBC. Yeah, the Freedom Convoy GoFundMe pauses donations to Canadian truckers. They have reached $7.9 million. I guess that's 10 million in Canadian dollars in funding. And I'm just wondering, why did they use GoFundMe in the first place? How do you not know by now what GoFundMe does? I mean, there's Give, Send, Go. There are other platforms like this that you can use that aren't going to try to pull this crap. Yeah, what do they say here? That the fundraiser is currently paused and under review to ensure it complies with our terms of service and blah, blah, blah. Basically, we're trying to find a way to make sure that these guys don't get a dime, even though you want them to have the money. I know some people believe that GoFundMe is acting in good faith. I'm just not in that camp. I just don't believe that they're acting in good faith, but that's my personal belief. I could be wrong, but am I? These people are crazy. They even had a Canadian leader that was outlining a plan to target trucker convoy donations. Yeah, a Canadian elected official in Ottawa allegedly deleted a tweet appearing to outline a plan to legally target millions of dollars raised in support of the Freedom Convoy truckers protesting mandates. This morning, I have asked the city manager and the city solicitor to immediately launch court proceedings targeting the millions of dollars in funds frozen by at GoFundMe, so Ottawa taxpayers are not left holding the bag for these protests. Ottawa City Councillor of Rideau Vanier Ward, Matthew Fleury, allegedly tweeted on Monday, according to screenshots posted to Twitter. The tweet was deleted before noon on Monday. Fox News examined Fleury's Twitter account Monday morning and found it was restricted to only allow approved followers to see his tweets. It's unclear when Fleury protected his Twitter account. Fox News reportedly contacted Fleury's office multiple times since Monday, including an email and by phone, but did not receive a reply. Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson also did not return Fox News requests for comment when contacted via email and on voicemail. Yeah, these people are lunatics. The tides are changing in Canada, and public opinion appears to be with the convoy. Inspired by the Canadian truckers, American, European, and Australian truckers are also starting their own freedom convoys. I can't wait for the American convoy to come rolling through. As unimaginable as it would have seemed just a few weeks ago, Canadians are now seen internationally as a ray of sunshine and an inspiration. It's like, you guys got me feeling proud to be an American. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry. You know, that patriot, that warm, fuzzy patriotic feeling, that feeling of freedom spreading throughout the land. Like, that's more what I mean. Will Trudeau back down and negotiate, capitulate, or will Trudeau's classless verbal attacks morph into physical retaliation against the mostly working class truckers, their supporters on the ground in Ottawa, and the millions of Canadians who also disagree with him and his sweeping mandates are demanding their freedom? Stay tuned. I'm just going to read bits and pieces of this article here from CNN, just so you can see the contrast of how the people, how it is now the mainstream, the YouTubers, the good YouTubers, how we are reporting stuff versus how the dying dinosaur media is trying to report things. Yes. And this is basically just so you can see the psychology of what they're doing here. This protest feels American in Canada. So first they're going to try to say, oh, this is a Trumpism thing. This is about Trump. Like, no, really, Trump is not the president of Canada. Okay. He's not. So you can leave that out. But so now they're saying, oh, well, yeah, somebody had to make Canada great again. And Trump 2024. And that, yeah, here we go back to the fake Confederate battle flag. Like I said, you know who brought those. We all know who brought those. And they don't mean anything in Canada. Like, it is like the dumbest thing ever. Wow. I really wish that these liberal folks would pick up a history book or major in something other than like underwater lesbian basket weaving, so maybe they would know something, but they don't. Blah 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 blah. More Trump. Oh, this is Trump. This is all Trump. You know, in Canada, it's all Trump in Canada. It couldn't be actually an apolitical thing where people on both sides of the aisle agree on freedom. Can't be that. It can't be that. No, Trump has taken over Canada. My goodness. Yes. And here's the next part. Yeah, it's small. It's actually very small. Almost no one's there. According to their estimates, there were 5,000 to 18,000 people, far short of the 50,000 trucks that the organizers had claimed. Right. So it's a teeny tiny thing. Oh, by the way, please, whatever you do, don't go look at photos. Okay. Don't look at any photos or any videos of what's actually going on, because we're telling you that, that nobody's there. Okay. It's small. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Oh no. They're spreading misinformation and hatred because they want freedom. Freedom is actually misinformation and hatred. Woohoo. The gaslight is strong with this one. I love this part here. The reality is that truckers live in a country that is among the most highly medicated in the industrialized world. Canadians have embraced restrictive measures. That's right. Canadians, all of them, they love wearing masks and they love closing schools and they love having shops closed down. They love having their businesses shut down and ruined. They love not being able to go to the gym. They come on. Like, this is actually what this says. They love this. They have embraced this. Here's my favorite part of all. Josh Greenberg incisively argues the absence of violence does not make this peaceful. Come on. That's like saying having a law degree and passing the bar does not make you a lawyer. What? I love it. I forgot what CNN's definition of a peaceful protest actually is.
Christine, Laura, what you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the course of the night, a second night.
See, there you go. Fiery, but mostly peaceful. This is peace. This is what a peaceful, mostly peaceful. This is peace, though. This is what a peaceful protest looks like. This is what a violent protest looks like. Truck off, Trudeau. Oh, that's pretty funny. My rights don't end where your fear begins. Truck Trudeau. But the biggest lie and the most insidious part of this article is actually this part right down here, where it says, with this laissez-faire strategy, the protesters might well occupy Ottawa as they threaten 4 months, but they will persuade few. They have little currency in a country where freedom matters less than order. Okay, so basically, the point that this author is trying to make is that there's no hope, that you can do what you want and you will have no effect. And that is the biggest lie in this article. Why? Because this guy is such a freaking moron. It's like he forgets that just a few paragraphs ago, he had to admit that Quebec is the most aggressive jurisdiction on the pandemic, which threatened. But this week dropped. Yes, it just dropped. They just dropped a plan to tax the unvaccinated. Do you know why? It wasn't out of the kindness of their hearts. It's because this is working. They are winning. We are winning. We have to keep at it, and we need to support these people, and we need to get them to get a Give, Send, Go. Yeah, so that story dropped on February 1st. Yes, winning. And here's more winning. The Saskatchewan Premier says health restrictions on rights and freedoms are ending soon.
There's been a lot of discussion lately about whether it's time for us in Saskatchewan to look at ending all of the remaining COVID measures and restrictions that we have in place. I think it is time. That's what I am hearing. That's what our MLAs are hearing from most of their constituents. Now, that's not because COVID is ended. It most certainly hasn't. It's because people understand it better. They understand what they need to do. They understand the risk, and they are prepared to live with that risk more than they are prepared to live with the ongoing government intrusion into their lives.
Winning, winning, winning. So the good guys are winning, and the independent media like me, we're not going to sit idly by and let the dinosaur media, the dying dinosaur media, we're not going to let them control the narrative. You don't control the narrative anymore. We're not going to allow you to send out some paid goons flying like crazy flags and destroying things, and then or trying to use those people to discredit our movement. That's not happening. That's not happening. Not on my watch. And look at this. I love this. I love this article so much too. Towing companies snub Toronto's slow tow zone. Yes. Yes, they tried to get the companies, these local tow truck companies, to come in and tow these tow trucks away. And they said, no, thanks. No, thanks. We prefer freedom. Go away now. Thank you. Awesome. 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 So the dying and decaying fringe dinosaur media, they don't want you to have any hope. They want you to think that protesting like this will not work. But I found this great story that attorney Leah Dundas is going to talk about. And it's all about how in Thailand, they had a similar protest and it worked.
And one of the things that I had seen when I was on the ground in Thailand in 2014, they have coups every 6 or 7 years, because they are willing to fight to the death for even the hope of having a piece of the freedom that we've been busy ignoring for the last couple centuries until March of 2020. And so I was on the ground, and the people on the ground were trying to oust the military regime that was in power, and they're burning army tanks, Thai army tanks, and overturning them in the street. And I mean, 2,000 people in front of your hotel room setting stuff on fire when you walk out in your ballet flats and your twin set. And I'm looking at this, and they push, and then the military would push back, and it would be one step forward, one step backward, no clear winner really gaining traction in either direction. And then after a couple of weeks, the farmers said enough. And the rural farmers got on their very large earth moving equipment and decided they were going to roll in from their little fields 5, 6, 8 hours out of Bangkok. And they were going to encircle Bangkok International Airport and make that little airport an island unto itself. And it was game over. They didn't even have to all the way encircle it. It was game over. And I've been saying ever since 2014, big equipment and the boys who drive the big equipment can be a game changer.
I'll tell you what, guys, I'm feeling really good right now about the direction that this, not just this country, but like this world is moving in. People are standing up and they're fighting for freedom, and we need to all stick together, and we need to support each other no matter what country we are in. I'm just happy right now. I'm just really happy because I haven't felt this positive about the direction that the world is moving in for a while. But remember, guys, hang in there. When you can financially support people, financially support them. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and please share it. You can help us continue to fight in the war against disinformation by donating at paypal.me/right-left-of-center. I'm River Wright from Right Left of Center, and if you're watching, you're probably right too.